Hey everybody, Games with Chin here, and we're going to do a little bit of a different test, but we're going to be reviewing the brand new Xbox Elite Controller Series 2. Now, I am doing this review from my iPod Touch. Normally I do them from my Xbox, so we're going to see how this goes. Okay, so first off, you notice there won't be any video, just audio. My wife is asleep, my daughter is asleep, so I'm trying to keep everything, you know, as good for them sleep wise as I can. But let's get straight to the review. Okay, so when this controller was first announced and I saw it, I was excited. I didn't know what the changes would be because the first Elite controller was amazing. And as many of you know, if you've seen any of my other accessibility reviews and you've seen any of my game reviews, I am big on legacy sticks. I mean, it's basically determines if I can play a game super effectively or not. So I had heard that the new Elite controller, the Series 2, was going to have the option to customize everything. And I mean everything. And I got a little skeptical seeing a couple people's videos on YouTube, and this was before the controller came out. However, once the controller came out, I got my hands on it and I was able to actually like play with it. It blew me away. The accessibility options on this thing are just crazy. I mean, you can swap the axes. So you can, like the Elite One, you could swap the sticks, where the left stick was the right stick and vice versa. And in this controller, you can even go further than that. You can swap the axes to make legacy sticks on any game. You could swap the axes on it just as any customization analog stick wise that you can pretty much think of. They also made it where you can make a button as a direction of the analog stick, either one. So, like in the old Nintendo 64 days, you would have the face buttons, which would be how you would like aim and turn, and you could do that if you wanted. I don't know why many people probably would on that one, but you could. You can set the analog stick any direction on either analog stick to be any button on the controller. You can also set buttons to turn up and down the volume of your TV, to change your channels, to go to your friend list, to go to the Xbox home menu, to hit start, the Windows button. I mean, this controller is just kind of mind-blowing what all you can do with it. They also have a feature that I love, which is called the shift feature. So basically, what it is it makes one button have two different functions. So, example, let's say you have one of your back paddles set to as your shift button. Let's just say you have A as the button you're going to use. So when you press A without holding down the back paddle, it'll do your standard function, whatever the A button would do. So like let's just say in a game it would be jump. So you'd press A and the character would jump. But then once you hold down that back paddle, it'll be in shift mode and it will be whatever you have the button set to in shift mode. So if you have the button set to the right trigger, then once you hold down that back paddle and press A, now that button acts as the right trigger. So for people with disabilities who need one button, to do multiple things, this thing has it. You can do that. It's Microsoft went above and beyond completely with this controller. And I know many people would say, yeah, but isn't it, kind of steep? It is $180. However, the things that you can do with this controller, especially if you're disabled and you have range of motion issues and whatnot, this thing's amazing. I mean, it's worth the money, hands down. It personally allowed me to play games that I couldn't play very well, if at all, before. And now I can play them just fine because of the customization on this controller. I mean, and if it's also a good controller, like if you want a remote, but you don't have a remote, and I'm not talking about it like a controller, I'm talking about like a remote. So you, like I said, you can set it to volume up, down, channel up, down. There's just so many things that you can set it to do, and I know I'm forgetting some of the options. I mean, there's so many options to this controller that I'm not going to be able to list all of them off in in this video. That's just how amazing it is. I mean, it's and the cool thing is when the new Xbox comes out, Project Scarlet, and they may rename it, closer to time of release, but right now Project Scarlet, this controller works with it. So you don't have to buy like a new Elite controller when the Scarlet drops, when it releases. If you buy this controller, it will be completely compatible with the Scarlet, which I think the other Elite controller, as well as the other Xbox controllers, I think will be as well. But this is definitely a controller. If you just have extra money and you're thinking about picking up a new controller, this is the way to go. And it's not just good for people with range of motion issues, it's good for anybody. I mean, they got several different analog sticks. They have a little key that you can change the tension on the analog stick, so you can make it where the analog stick is looser for people that may have troubles moving the analog stick, or you can tighten it up to where it's the 360 stiffness, or it can even go even stiffer than the 360 one if that's what you desire. And then the back buttons, you can, like the right trigger and left trigger buttons, you can set the I guess it's kind of like the tension to where you have to fully press it down like a normal right trigger, or you can set it to where it presses like the RB, the right bumper. And so you can use the right trigger for like shooter games to get quicker shots off. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this controller other than it's amazing. Just flat out amazing. And for anybody who's disabled, if you have any questions and I didn't answer them, please feel free to respond to this video. Like I said, there's so many options. I know I had to have left something out. Um, I have pretty much, there's, in my opinion, nothing negative to say about this controller. That's how good that it is. And yeah, to Microsoft, you guys have done an amazing job with accessibility. You have. And I just, again, thank you guys for making a controller that I can use to play any and all games. Because before I would constantly have to ask a developer if it had legacy sticks or this and that, and I don't have to do that anymore. Oh, and another cool thing. Sorry, guys. Whenever you hit the shift button, I am almost certain that you can have one analog stick have the function of both analog sticks. So, like, if you have, like me, I use the right analog stick as my left analog stick. But if I have the shift button held down, I could have the left analog stick be the right analog stick as well. And then once you release shift, it goes back to the left analog stick. So it's kind of like Gears 5's one stick feature where you can move and aim with one analog stick. I mean, it's just mind blowing what all this thing can do. But yeah, again, if I left anything out, please reply below with a comment, and I'll do my best to answer any and all questions that I can. And I just want to say thank you for to you guys for all the support, and I hope these videos help. And again, to Microsoft, thank you guys very much. And on that note, in the immortal words of one Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other.